there's often this issue of abortion in this country. Oh boy, I mean, there's been an ongoing fight for decades on this, right? I mean, recently we had the issue of NARAL protesting, a right-wing judge being appointed who's massively pro-life in Georgia. Of course, he's appointed under President Obama, but that's a different story. But look, you got to understand how important it is to the Republicans and the religious right that they maintain this pro-life position, because if you read the Bible, God is very pro-life, meaning that he believes in the sanctity of life and that the fetus inside the womb is definitely a life and must be protected. Now, that's the propaganda that you have been hearing for an endless number of decades in this country. Now let's actually read the Bible together and find out how that is totally and utterly untrue. Again, I'm not going to quote anything but the Bible for you. So let's go to Numbers here, because in this case, what they're talking about in this portion of the Bible, and you can look it up yourself, is if you think your wife has cheated on you and maybe she's carrying someone else's child, what should you do? Well, God has an answer for you. He says, and when he hath made her drink the water, the potion that they have given her to test her, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter. And her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot, and the woman shall be a curse among her people. And if the woman be not defiled, but be clean, then she shall be free, and shall conceive seed. So, what is that saying? It is indisputably saying, if you think your wife has cheated on you, give her some toxic potion, and if the fetus inside of her dies, yes, way to kill it. It turns out she cheated on you, okay? But if it doesn't die and she survives the toxic potion, well, then I guess it was meant to be and it's your kid. I'm not sure that's the strategy I'd go with, but there is God in the Bible saying, I don't mind if you kill the fetus at all. If you think it's not yours, obviously give your wife toxic water, and if the fetus dies, he had it coming. It's in the Bible. I'm not the one saying it. Go check for yourself. Numbers 5:21 right there. Now, that's not all. There's more from Numbers on a different issue. How do we count who's alive and who's not alive? Well, that's the whole point of Numbers. Let's count them up. They say, numbers the children of Levi after the house of their fathers, by their families. Every male from a month old and upward shalt thou number them. And Moses numbered them according to the word of the Lord. Well, that's interesting. So only the kids that are ages from 1 month old to 5 years old count. If you're under 1 month old, you're born. You're out of the womb. You're already born, but you're not having yet reached 1 month old. God doesn't even count you. He doesn't count you as a life. It's in the Bible. So saith the word of the Lord. Don't ask me, ask the Lord. Okay, now we go to Leviticus. Leviticus is always fun. This is the part where God gets angry at the gays and also people who eat shrimp and lobster. Okay, so what does he say about life inside the womb here? He says, and if it be from a month old, even unto 5 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, and for the female thy estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. We learn a couple of fun things there. One, females are obviously worth less than males, obviously. Okay, read the Bible. And the second fun thing we learn is that if you are not yet a month old, even if you're born, you are worthless. You're not worth 1 single shekel. You don't count at all. Inside the womb, are you kidding me? This is after you're born. You're telling me God thinks that if it's in the fetus, if the fetus is in the womb, I should say, that it's a sacrosanct life. He won't even get 1 shekel for it. Okay, we're not done yet. Exodus. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him. And he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life. This actually might be the most important one, because they say, if you harm the mom, well then life for life, okay? Then we're going to have to take your life. But if you hurt her seed, then you're just in a negotiation with her husband. You will determine the number of shekels that you have to pay as a fine and move on with our lives. Because the life of the fetus is clearly not equal to the life of the mother. In fact, that's a life, as we found out through other portions of the Bible that are all consistent, doesn't even count. It doesn't count. It's not worth anything. And again here, it is not the same as the life of an actually born human being past 1 month old. And finally, if you want to go to Hosea here, I mean, I can give you dozens of these examples, but in the Bible, when you tell me that life is sacrosanct for God, well, I'm positive you haven't read any of the Bible. There's a couple of genocides in there conducted by the Lord, right? And that's just when he wipes out everybody and then only saves Noah as one example. But in almost every chapter, and then these guys had it coming and he killed all of them, and those guys had it coming, and whoop, there they go, and all their kids. But I want to quote Hosea to you because it's on this point as well. Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. That almost sounds like abortion, doesn't it? Their women with child shall be ripped up. I didn't say it. The Lord said it. In reality, the Bible is not quote-unquote pro-life at all. They've been lying to you for decades. They just made it up. And then they pretended this was the most important thing in the Bible, when it's not even in there. Isn't that amazing? Well, now you know the truth. Don't believe me. Go read the Bible yourself. All right, by the way, great credit to Kyle Kolinsky here at Secular Talk, who's part of the TYT Network, for bringing this up first, and thank you for pointing it out. I loved reading those Bible verses. That was fun.